Hey, y'all. Hey, what's up? Listen, we're here for day 17 and 18 of 29 because yesterday, 5 o'clock came and went, and I just forgot that I had to go live. I was literally 4:45. I got the reminder on my phone to that I need to go live at 5. I had to drive somewhere and said, okay, I'll be there within 15 minutes. Once I get there, I'll go live and then carry on with my day. And I completely forgot by the time I made it to my destination. So I'm going to apologize for completely missing yesterday, because I love to keep my word not only to myself but to other people, and I hate when I cannot follow through on my commitments that I have made. So please accept my apology for not being here for day 17. But don't think that I completely forgot about you guys, because by 7:30, of course, that's when I remembered. Oh, girl, you were supposed to go live at 5. So um, I'm happy that you're back here with me today. And we're going to talk about what we were going to talk about yesterday, as well as what I plan to talk about today. So, yesterday, my goal was to talk about personal credit, and it's really a gateway to building wealth. And then today we're going to talk about creating that financial dream board. So we're going to start with one and then end with the other. So if you happen to be catching this live, put hashtag live. You're on the replay, hashtag replay. And for those of you who do not know who I am, I'm Nashaya Richardson, the Play Money Coach, and I work with high achieving professionals who want to learn how to manage their money like a boss so they have more play money to do the things they enjoy. So now let's talk about personal credit being your gateway to wealth. Now, a lot of times when people come to me, now I am not a credit restoration uh, expert, but I know credit because my credit is excellent. So I know credit, and it can be really simple, but a lot of times we get ourselves in a negative space with our credit, so it feels heavy to get to those higher numbers because of all the things that we did that weren't quite the best things, which actually made our credit score go lower. So I'm going to keep it really basic, right? And these are things that you can really start looking to implement right away. And a lot of the work that I do with my clients when I work with them, it automatically increases their credit score without them actually focusing just on credit. And I will say that a lot of times we get stuck on the numbers, and all we're focusing on is how can I get that credit score number up, when one, we may not even need to use our credit like right away. And two, let's focus on the bigger things and let the credit just fall into place. So let's focus on credit. Okay. So building your personal credit. One, I will say the magic thing to always remember, and I want you to write this down, is pay your bills on time. That is going to be the biggest factor that affects your credit score, is paying your bills on time. That's your payment history, right? Which is like 35% of what accounts for your credit score. And sometimes that one thing could be the biggest thing that is impacting us. So maybe you were late on one thing and now you see that 99% payment history, or maybe you got into a space where you lost income, or you forgot to pay something, you just forgot. And now that affected your credit score. So always remember, pay on time. And even if it is just the minimum, that is all that you have to do to maintain that perfect credit history. Now, a lot of times people think, well, I have to pay all of this money to keep my accounts valid. No, just focus on the minimum, depending on the space that you're in, so that at least you can stay in a positive credit space. Now, what I will tell you to do is, if you're in a space where you have lost income or your money is not flowing the way that it typically does, and you feel like you can't make that minimum payment, call your creditors and have a conversation. We think that creditors are not humans or they don't realize that people have stuff going on in their life that is unexpected, that they truly just could not have prepared for. We'll get into that in another conversation. But they have things going on in their life. We make mistakes. Things happen, right? I'll be honest with you. I have missed payments on my credit cards, and it's not because I didn't have the money. It's just because I literally forgot. So it's okay, right? But if you're in a space where you feel like, okay, I can't make this payment, and it's either going to be late or I'm not going to have money until next month, then pick up the phone and call your creditors to tell them your situation and let them know that, listen, I lost my income this month. I'll be fine next month. Is there anything that you can do to support me in this situation? You'll be surprised how many times the creditors will actually work with you and help you get out of that situation so that you don't default on your credit card. They don't necessarily want you to have a negative score on your credit report. They want their money back, because by you paying them back, now that benefits them. If you don't pay them back, then that's a negative for them, which is why it's important that we pick up the phone and have a conversation. Don't think that your creditors are your enemy. No, they're your best friend, because what's going to happen is, if you pay down that credit card, you pay off that credit card, you're responsible with your credit card or your personal loans or your car loans or your mortgage, right? They're going to want to lend you more money, because they're going to say, wow, this person is really responsible. They know how to manage this $10,000 worth of credit. How about we give them $15,000? Oh, we loaned them $10,000 before. They paid it off. They paid on time. Okay, cool. Their debt to income ratio is good. Let's give them $15,000. Oh, they paid that car off. They were responsible. They paid their payments on time. They don't have a lot of other debt. Sure, let's give them another car loan, right? So showing that you can pay on time, you're responsible, that's going to actually allow your creditors and your lenders to give you more and be happy about it, right? Because of course they want to make interest off you anyway. That's the one thing. Pay on time, right? Just remember to pay on time. The second thing is, and I just lost my train of thought. Oh, leveraging your credit. Pay on time, and your credit is truly there as a tool for you. So whether you're using your credit to earn points, so earn those rewards as you're using your credit card, maybe you use it monthly to go grocery shopping and do your typical monthly purchases. Make sure you are paying it off every single month if you're using the card for those types of purchases, because one, you wouldn't typically pay interest on groceries. So we're not going to start doing that, right? No, you wouldn't typically pay interest on gas. So that's not what we're doing with the credit card, right? So get into the habit where if you're using your credit card so that you can benefit from the perks and the rewards that comes with having a credit card, that you're paying it off that month, so you're not earning interest on things that you would not have typically paid interest on, right? Now, with that credit card, you could easily use that, leverage that credit and use that to invest in something else. So, maybe you want to get into something that requires like a $5,000 investment. And maybe right now you don't want to use your liquid cash, the money that's in your savings account. You don't want to pull money from your retirement. Maybe you don't want to pull money from your individual brokerage account. And you're like, I'm going to use my credit so that I can access this thing that I want to invest in, make a profit, pay off my credit card, and now I have money off of that investment, right? So that is one way how your personal credit can truly be a tool for you to build wealth. And, sometimes we don't think about it that way, because a lot of us were taught that credit is one, either bad. Tell me in the comments, actually, what were some of the things that you were taught about credit? Because some of the things that I hear often is, credit cards are bad. All debt is bad. They're trouble. They're dangerous. And some people actually just live off of credit. They're like, I don't need cash. Just give me the credit and I'm good, right? So tell me in the comments, what are some of the things that you believe about credit, or that you were taught about credit that maybe you don't believe anymore? But that's how you grew up learning about it. Because I've heard lots of things, and a lot of things are not fact. They are experiences that people have had, and now they push that on to others. And sometimes we just hold on to those things, and we're constantly telling ourselves that credit is bad, or, I can't have good credit, all these things, right? The third thing is, as you're looking at your personal credit, don't don't let that be your main focused thing. So one of my clients, she recently she was doing amazing and still is doing amazing, right? And she's paying off a lot of her debt, and she had accelerated her timeline that we had put together for her, because she was like, listen, I am tired of this debt. I want to get rid of it. And I want to get rid of it, and I'm just want to be debt free. And as she started paying off her credit cards, she messaged me and she said, I'm feeling these emotions and I can't quite understand what it is that I'm feeling. She's like, I'm excited about, my future and not having this debt. And then I also look at my credit score and I realize how much this debt has affected my credit score, as well as thinking about the situation that got me into this space where I need to pay off all of this debt. And we focus on the excitement, right, of what's going to happen, what's the end result of her paying off all this debt, right, staying in that positive space. And then I also had to ask her, like, do you need to use your credit, shortly or within this a short period of time, to where that credit score needs to be up higher? And she said, no, I have everything I need. I don't need to finance anything, nothing that's going to use my credit. It's just, I don't know, I'm thinking about how it negatively affected it. And I'm like, all right. So let's not focus on something that's not even an issue, right? So putting ourselves in a negative space, finding the thing that's going to bring us down, that's really not even a factor, right? You don't need your credit for anything right now. You have your car, you have your apartment. You don't plan to buy a home right now, maybe in a couple of years or so, and you have credit cards, you have everything that you need, and nothing is actually a factor of whether or not you have a higher credit score. So let's not focus on that, because that's not a factor in anything right now. And everything that you're doing by paying off your debt is really positioning you to have better credit. So let it naturally does what it does on its own, and you'll have your higher credit score in no time. And she's like, okay, you're right. And we do that all the time. Like, we are worried about things that don't even matter, and we're taking away the positive, great things that we're doing. And that a lot of times is what gets us discouraged in that negative space. So I really challenge you to, if you're thinking about credit and you don't need credit anytime soon, and you have this debt and you want to build up your savings and you want to manage your money better, let's focus on those things that matter and let the credit fall into place, because it's naturally going to fall into place, right? Now, the fourth thing is about credit. I actually wanted to read this comment. I was encouraged to use credit, use other people's money, which is a lie. Okay. I would love to know, why do you feel like it's a lie, China? Just make payments. I heard that a lot growing up. Yes. So making payments, yes, it keeps you in the positive, and but the goal is to get out of that cycle of credit card payments and debt payments, because whoever your lender is, whether it's a credit card, personal loan, your mortgage, whatever, right? They're earning interest off you, unless you have a 0% interest card, which I really encourage those who do have to use credit for something and they know they can't necessarily pay it off right that month. Find a 0% interest card so that you're not paying interest on something and you can get it paid off within that time frame. But yes, just make payments. I actually think that's a really good advice, but I also am going to add to that. Just make payments, but also have a plan to get out of that situation ASAP. So make payments, minimum payments on everything, and then focus on one at a time to pay it off expeditiously so that you do not have to pay a lot of interest on that debt, right? Number four, I forgot what I was saying. Paying off debt. So when we think about credit, right, a lot of times it is connected to how much debt do you have? How much debt or utilization are you holding with the credit that you have available to you? So if you're over 30% of what's available to you, then that right there is going to negatively affect your credit score, right? If you are not paying on time, that's going to negatively affect your credit score. So let's look at the utilization, because that's what I wanted to focus on right now. So some people think like, oh, if I get all these negative things off my report, that's going to be the thing that gets my my score up. If I I don't know, if I open another card, that's going to get my score up. And it's like, wait a minute, how about you focus on the credit that you have available to you and get all of that paid off versus carrying that debt month after month after month after month and getting in the space where you are not getting those cards down to zero. You're not living off of credit. You're living off of, the goal is to live off of your cash. If you can live off of your cash and not have to worry about using credit to maintain your lifestyle. So when you think about how can I get my score up, let's look at the one thing that you can control, like right now. Yes, you can do disputes and get negative things off your score, but you can control paying off that debt, because that's truly going to be the thing that starts working that score up, because you're utilizing less of the credit that you have available to you. So if you've been like just paying the minimum and thinking that's doing something, or paying an extra $50 and thinking that it's doing something, is not, honey. Like, it's not. Like, this is the year where you can really say, like, all right, I gotta do something different, because what I was doing before is not working. And I'm telling you, get your credit paid off as soon as possible. So one, that's going to free up money for you every single month. So if you're right now paying $1,200 in credit cards and credit card payments, and that's just the minimum, you could have an additional $1,200 every single month back into your pocket to have more play money to do the things that you enjoy doing. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I like my money in my pocket so I can decide where I want it to go. If that's you, put a one in the comments. Because I don't like bills. I know some things we just can't get rid of, but I don't like bills. Secondly, the amount of interest. I want you to look at, if you have credit card payments and you have personal loans and car payments and all that things, I want you to look at how much interest you pay every single month and factor that into what's happening with your money, because a lot of times we'll look at the monthly payment and not realize that the monthly payment is actually probably about 80% interest, and we're barely even touching the amount of credit that we actually use. So that's an eye opener when people look at that, because maybe your payment is 100 and let's say $35 a month, but you're paying $80 and $90 of interest. Now, $40 of that actually went to the what you purchase on your credit card, where 90% of that is going to the creditors. How does that feel? That doesn't feel good to me. So let's really look at paying off debt, paying on time. And by paying off debt, paying on time, that's going to naturally boost our score. If there's negative things and things that you need to dispute, you can do that. I have people that I can refer you to. But just focus on what you can control, and your score will naturally start going up. So now I want to go back to these comments here. So I was encouraged to use credit, use other people's money. I actually think that's a great thing to do. Yes and no, right? So yes, if you're in a space where you don't want to use your cash, or you want to leverage somebody else's money so that you can maybe invest in something that's going to get you to the next level, which is going to position you to have more money, then yes, that's a great way to use other people's money, right? Maybe that could also, I know we're talking about credit, right? But I'm going to sprinkle a little business in there. Maybe that's you applying for a grant. And you can use other people's money that way. So, you don't necessarily have to pay it back. Maybe there are rules and stipulations to that grant that you have to follow, so that you don't default on the grant. But the grants where it allows you to do whatever it is that you want to do with that money, yes, use other people's money. You may also have angel investors, or people that want to really invest in your business, and they see that the big goal, they see that it's scalable, and they're like, listen, we want to be a part of this, and we're going to give you money to position you to be able to do the bigger things that we see can happen in your business. That is a great way to use other people's money, and leverage that so that you can make more money, make a bigger profit, and then pay them back. And now you have more money in a business that's in a great financial space, right? Also, if you're looking for sponsors, or people to donate or do things with your business, a lot of times they will look at and ask for your finances, or they'll, look at your personal credit, or if you're applying for, business credit that requires a personal guarantor, they're going to look at your credit. And if they look at your credit and they see that you have a low credit score and you're not great with managing your money, you're not, then it positions you to not use other people's money, which should actually help you in your business and help you grow. And then vice versa in your personal. If they look at your credit score and they see that, listen, you're not paying things on time, your credit score is low, you don't have a lot of credit available to you, and you're just not someone that they feel comfortable loaning money to, one, you're going to have really high interest rates because they're like, we're taking a chance on you and you've shown us that you're not very responsible, so we're going to give you a 25% interest rate when we would have given someone else a 4% interest rate who has a great credit score. So that's really going to make a huge difference. So I talked about that, $90 going towards interest, where you could potentially only have $10 going towards interest if you have a higher credit score versus a lower credit score. Yeah, so those are the things that I wanted to talk about. And so I don't necessarily think using other people's money is a bad thing, depending on what you're using it for and how responsible you are. Just make payments. I addressed that. So thank you for sharing, China. These are good because it really allows us to have the conversation around it. And I also love getting other people's perspectives and what their beliefs are and the things that work for them, because my thoughts are my thoughts. The things that work for me. But I'm also here to give you different perspectives on things so that now you can really look at, okay, is the thing that I'm thinking true? Do I want to continue to do this, or am I open to learning something different? And just having an open mind about it. I'm not talking about being in good financial position, enough money, and being encouraged to use credit for large purchases or something. Instead of telling someone young to do that without full confidence. Yes. That's very true. And hold on. That's very true. And that's usually what happens to all of us. We've all had those things told to us and not fully understanding what the person meant, or doing a little research and educating ourselves further. And then we get into these financial spaces and we're like, how did I get here? Because there was a lot of things I asked myself, how did I get here? And how did I not know? But you go off of what someone is telling you. There's someone that you trust. There's someone that you think is, the person that you can listen to. And, I really encourage us all to do our research, look a little further into it, and listen to other people. Because even though, someone may have our best interest at heart, it may not be the best advice for us to follow. So I love that. And thank you so much for sharing that. You end up paying back so much more due to lack of knowledge and poor responsibility understanding. Yep. I remember my very first credit card that I got in college, the one that they give us because you're a college student. I think it was like $2,500. And man, that $2,500 was 2 shopping trips. That thing was maxed out. And I don't know who was supposed to pay it back, because it wasn't me. It definitely was not me, but I did eventually. But it took a long time, and I maxed it out, and it was difficult because I did not understand what a credit card was supposed to do, how I was supposed to use it, and lesson learned. And I'm glad that I learned the lesson when I learned it versus now, where I'm almost 40, and then it's like where a lot of my clients are by the time they come to me, and it's like, okay, now I need to do something because I'm in this financial space. So that's personal credit, your gateway to wealth. We can go deeper in that if you want more of that. We do that in the Money Haven Academy, which is my online community. I won't necessarily say a membership because it is true sisterhood of us, high achieving women who are ready to build a healthier relationship with their money, ready to crush their financial goals, and would love money coaching from me as their money coach. And they're like, listen, I need a space to be, I need accountability, I need support. And maybe I'm not quite ready for your one-to-one, but I need to do something now because I'm in a space where if I don't do something now, my debt is going to overcome me and I'm not going to be able to manage it after a while. I may have to file bankruptcy, or maybe you're just leaving a long-term relationship and now you're picking up the financial pieces, right? Or maybe you're just in a space where you're like, I've been doing the same thing over and over and over and nothing is changing. And I need to do something different this year because I want a better quality of life. And I also don't want to feel alone in this journey or feel embarrassed or ashamed about the decisions that I made. Then the Money Haven Academy is the place for you. So type Haven in the academy, in the comments. If you're like, listen, I need to be in there. I want in. We are starting March 6th, the first Wednesday of the month. And we are going to then have a Q&A session and hot seat coaching, live coaching the third Wednesday of the month. And I'm thinking about, I don't know if I want to do it yet, but I'm strongly considering having Money Date Mondays in the community so that you can truly set aside time to have money dates with your money every single week with no excuses of, oh, I'm busy, I don't know. No, it's going to be on the calendar and there. So you'll definitely have 2 monthly calls. One, we're implementing a strategy, a lesson, which I will be hosting. And then there will be time for you to implement throughout the month. And then we come back for Q&A, live coaching as you're implementing and you need support, because the goal is for you to go through my framework that I typically do with my clients one-to-one, but we are in a group setting. And you do not have to share your financial information in there. It's truly you implementing what the information and the lessons that I am sharing and then getting support. Now, support doesn't mean that you have to tell me that you have $100,000 of debt. Support means, okay, how can I implement this strategy? And then you take it and apply to your financial situation. Because I know for a lot of people, they're like, I don't really want to talk about my money in a public setting. Well, you don't necessarily have to talk about what's in your bank account, but maybe your experiences or maybe what you're feeling, maybe what you're experiencing in that moment so that you can get the support that you need, not just from me, but also the other women that are in the community. So March 6th, we are starting. If you like, listen, I want in, it's $97 a month and you can not quit. I won't say quit because that's not necessarily a good word to say. But when you feel like, okay, I'm in a space that I'm good now, you can always stop at that time. So you can type Haven in the comments and I'll reach out to you. So now let's talk about day 18 because we got 2 lives in one. This is really long. So maybe I'm going to, I almost want to end this and start again, but I'm just going to go into it. So let's talk about that financial dream board. I'm not big on vision boards. The ones that I have done in the past, I've created them and then I've never looked at them again. It's like, it's just in my closet somewhere or whatever. So now I actually have a wallpaper on my cell phone because I look at that every day, right? So that's easy for me to see. But I do a lot of journaling and writing things down. And, that allows me to envision what it is that I desire in my finances. And it also allows me to actually create a plan for the things that I can manage right now that are within my control, but also write down the things that I desire in the future. And I have found that it truly has allowed me to achieve those things that I didn't plan to achieve this year, but I achieved them anyway because I wrote them down and I wrote the why. So let's talk about that financial dream board because that's actually day 18 of 29. So I really encourage you to write down what are your financial goals and dreams that you desire to accomplish. Now, even if it's not something that you think can happen this year because of maybe the financial situation that you're in right now, I still want you to write it down. So maybe, someone mentioned a few lives ago that they wanted that 4-bedroom house and 2 bathrooms, right? Write that down in your journal and write down why you want that 4-bedroom house with the 2 bathrooms, right? Is it because you want more space with your family? You want your family that's out of town that comes to visit to have a place to stay. You want to have that extra room so that you can have your office in your house. You want the backyard to have a fence so that you can get a dog. You want to be able to host, family gatherings, and those family gatherings are truly going to allow you to bring that tradition and that family vibe back to, your family, which may be gone, right? So write down all the reasons why you may want that 4-bedroom house and with the 2 bathrooms, right? Um, Also, write down all the other things. Maybe you want that personal chef. That personal chef is going to allow you to have more time with your family or your kids or yourself, right? So that you don't have to worry about prepping your food and cooking your food. You can focus on the things that really make you happy. And by having that personal chef, that's going to free up time and allow you to do more of the things that you enjoy. Maybe you want to have $1 million in the bank, and that $1 million is going to position you to fund your children's education. That $1 million is going to allow you to donate to organizations and people that you truly want to help now that you're in the financial space to do that. That $1 million is going to allow you to travel 6 times a year and experience other cultures. And by experiencing those other cultures, now you can have well-rounded children who are in a different headspace that allows them to see that there's more to the world than just maybe their school and the couple of blocks around your house. And by having that experience, that's going to expose them to new people, which are now new friendships and new networks and new spaces that they can tap into, which is going to allow them to be in position to get better jobs and have better quality friendships and all the things, right? We can go deep, right? But I want you to write down all of the stuff. Even if it seems silly, maybe you just want a shirt that costs $100 and you're just like, I just don't want to spend $100 right now, but I desire that shirt and I'm going to get it one day. Write it down and write down why you want that shirt. For some people, maybe they want to buy the $100 shirts because to them, that means they've made it. They've never been able to afford a $100 shirt. And now that they're in position to buy it, that signifies that they're wealthy and they're successful, right? Whatever it may be. And it may not make sense to anyone else. And that's okay, as long as it makes sense to you. Because when we write these things down, we write the why, you'll be surprised how some of these things actually manifest and into reality and they actually happen. If we also couple that with images of what those things look like, it is going to really activate our reticular activating system, system and allow us to now start seeing those things happen. I was going to share something, but I don't want to share it yet. But it's going to allow us to start seeing those things happen. And it's going to happen in a way that we least expect it. I'm going to share it because I want to share it. And this actually happened for me last year. I was talking to my wealth coach, or she doesn't even consider herself a coach, a mentor, Jessica McLean. And we were talking and I'm like, listen, I know I am a 6-figure earner. And that is where I'm going to be. I am a 6-figure earner. And for whatever reason, the money just hasn't hit my account yet. Well, let me just say there was some things that happened outside of my control the end of 2023. And I am now a 6-figure earner. And it was something that I did not do. I just happened to be in position. My job made some changes. And our salary increased significantly. And I was like, holy cow. I wrote it down. I was like, I already know this is me. And it happened. And again, I didn't do anything for it. I work, but I didn't do anything different. It was something that I almost manifested. I believe I manifested it because I wrote it down and I wrote down the why. And I let it go, right? I released it. And there was things that I thought were going to actually put me in that space. And it wasn't that, it actually was something else. So it is important as to why we write these things down, because you'll start looking back on your list and you'll be like, wow, I actually have accomplished all these things, or all these things have come into my life in a way that I didn't think they were going to come, because I was trying to control the outcome when really it happened on its own or in a different way that I wasn't expecting it. So have your financial dream board. And even after you write it down in your journal, write down the why, and then you can also add pictures to it so that you can actually visualize it and see it. And then it's going to naturally start happening and appearing. So yes, that was our 2 for 1. I know that was a lot. I know I've been talking for a long time. So let me know if you have questions about anything's coming up for you, or if you're like, listen, we are just ready for day 19 because then we're at the last 10 days of, we're at the home stretch. Let me know if you're ready for day 19 because um, tomorrow we're going to talk about the psychology of wealth, which is really our mindset and shifting our mindset from that space of scarcity to abundance thinking. And now I will tell you that maybe you're already in a space where you're like, my mindset is good. My mindset is good where I'm at. Every level requires you to do more work. Like I mentioned before, I worked with my wealth mentor last year, and I thought I did all the work, right? But as I started making more money and got into spaces where now I'm positioned for more, there was some things that came up for me that weren't a factor before because there wasn't as much abundance. There wasn't the bigger thinking as I had in that moment. And I really needed that support as I started working towards the next level. So you may be in a good space where you're like, okay, I got this mindset thing down for where I am now. But if you're in position to make more money or in position to receive more, or you want to really be a better steward of your current income and that relationship that you have with your money right now, it's really important that we look at your mindset and see what is it that may be happening right now in this moment that you can shift, so that you can curate that abundant mindset to get you to the next level. So tomorrow we're talking about money, obviously, and mindset. So I will see y'all tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's only going to be about 15 minutes tomorrow because I'll have one topic, right? But I want you to really look at your credit and start looking at the things that you can work towards that's in your control to get your score up. Allow it to position you to build wealth, right? And to leverage it versus thinking that credit is a bad thing. And also really start working towards creating your financial dream board, whether that's you journaling and not creating like a whole poster board or whatever, or putting, a wallpaper on your phone so that, so that you can have it with you as you go. So y'all have an awesome evening. Stay safe, and I'll see y'all later.